Hello, my name is Bill Haley, and this is part of my 3-minute introduction series into Haley 2024, the movement's government reform ideas. This one's going to be on fighting federal control, and I have 12 proposed U.S. constitutional amendments to propose. This is not going to take us to the CRA structure. I have another video on that. This is going to create a situation where we fight back federal control, because once we take a lot of power away from the federal government, the federal government's not intertwined with the state government power so much, the state governments can go more towards the reforms I want within the CRA structure and the like. So this one's a little bit longer one, so let's get right into it. The ninth proposed amendment. If the majority of all the states' highest court justices declare a subject matter to not arise under the U.S. Constitution, nor otherwise a federal question, the U.S. Supreme Court and all federal inferior courts ruling on that matter will be moot and void. The same majority has the power to enforce the 10th Amendment by declaring a federal government law, program, spending, executive action, among other actions, to be beyond the powers authorized by the Constitution. Wow, there's a lot there. Basically, we need a way for the state governments to control what they created. They created the federal government. Do we really want federal government to control what the federal government's power is? Now, this does not allow the federal government to say, or the state government's highest court justices, to, if they find it does arise under the U.S. Constitution, then they don't have any say on it. The federal U.S. Supreme Court and the federal court system has a say on it. But there's too many things that the federal government's currently doing that's not within the Constitution. And we need an outside body, a body made up from from the states, to say, no, you do not have it. So let's go over my notes real quick. Every branch of government needs a checks and balance. Every state will have 9 state justices. Every state might be a little bit differently, but all states will declare 9 justices, state Supreme Court justices, as their 9. They're defined that by the state legislation. There will not need to be a case arising. So there might be a case arising, but it does not need to be a case arising. Governors or state legislators could submit proposals to their justices. Once an issue is chosen every other month, so it's not going to just be on everything. It's going to be on the most important things. There's a way to choose one, and it's going to be one every other month. There's not going to be 100 every year, 100 a month. We're going to do limited. So the most important things first. Every other month, the Supreme Court justices decide amongst themselves what's the most important. So every other month, so this is 6 times a year, they'll come up with a proposal. Then once they agree on that proposal, they'll start making decisions on that. The proposal with the highest state legislative support is selected. So there's a way to do that. They'll create a way. All the justices will have 8 months. I picked that 8 months because you need to have a time limit, and 8 months seems to be legit, to make their declaration. They're not doing it like the Supreme Court does right now. They make a declaration. Is it within the federal government's purview, authority, or is it not? Okay, example. Marriage law is outside the power authorized by the U.S. Constitution. It is. Retirement planning is outside the powers authorized by the U.S. Constitution. It is. So those type of things. Anyway, a little bit over my 3-minute limit, so keep on looking around my website. I have a whole page on this alone. Thanks a lot.